Thank you very much for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields, and thank you for taking the time to subscribe to this channel. All right, let's get right to it. We can now start to look ahead to the development of the future storm. So I want to get into that, kind of what I'm seeing down the road for more widespread development of tropical storms and potentially hurricanes. Speaking of hurricanes, this still trying to hang on. This here is Ernesto right now. It is now transitioning from being a hurricane, a tropical entity, into an extratropical or kind of post-tropical system getting tied into a front that is eventually going to bring some heavier winds over toward parts of Scotland and Ireland. So watching that over toward the UK, especially northern sections. Big wind maker starting later tomorrow into Thursday. And you can see it here again departing. It did scrape by right on track. Fortunately, this stayed very much on track the last several days. Here's Nova Scotia that stayed to the south of Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick over toward the Avalon Peninsula. We did get scraped by with some of those tropical storm conditions, but that has moved away. And you see it here, still big tropical storm wind field, but it's losing its tropical characteristics, moving through the North Atlantic over colder waters. So again, kind of changing form, if you will, but that wind maker moving back toward Ireland and the UK. Now we swing back here in the Caribbean, and then we'll look ahead to that future development. We've been seeing some of the rain and storms around Belize, for example, this morning. Keep me posted if you had any showers and storms. Also parts of Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama, a little flare up of some additional areas of rain. And then out here, watching these tropical waves. Now we start to look ahead. In the short term, though, this dry and stable air all around these tropical waves are really helping to prevent development. That is good. Conditions are not conducive for development right now. But I'll watch these tropical waves moving in. It's the batch that's going to be kind of behind this that is going to eventually start to develop, and we are going to see one after another. So I want to show you the long-term computer model on that in a moment. Then we get out here, here's Mexico, get over toward Hawaii, several areas. This is actually what the Atlantic is going to look like in about 2 weeks from now with several different areas. We have Gilma and a couple other spots that could develop. Here is Gilma. Gilma, a tropical storm, will become a hurricane, then back into a tropical storm, but there could be an eventual threat to Hawaii. I'll show you that as we get into the eastern Pacific side. Let's get back to the Atlantic and start here. Now I'm going to take you way out in time here and explain the changes that we're going to have. Now, let me take you into the upcoming weekend. This is Saturday, just ticking ahead. No development. This is by Sunday. Now on Sunday, so we're talking about several days from now, you can see no tropical storm or hurricane popping up over the next few days. Let's enjoy that little breather. I'll do the worrying behind the scenes for the rest of the season. Watching a front here, sometimes that can lead to a little development or a spin up, so I'm not going to lose sight of that. And then now we start to watch these tropical waves coming off. So this weekend when I see you, we're going to be really tracking these bigger tropical waves that come off, and those are the ones that are going to start to develop. All right, let's go out in time here. This is way down the road. This is by Tuesday, a week from now. So this is as we get into next week, watching here in the Caribbean and watching another strong tropical wave in the Atlantic. Both of these next week, we'll be watching out for some signs of development. And then look what happens deeper into next week as we work our way into about a week and a half from now. So this is the end of August, just what I've been highlighting over the last few weeks. Several spots to watch end of August into early September. Now, let me stop it here and explain this for a second, because this map looks a little scarier than it may be. And I do not want to spread any alarm, but I do want to mention that things are going to get active. You can see several spots we'll be watching. These could be tropical storms or eventually tropical storms that become hurricanes. Remember, I just mentioned the eastern Pacific right now. That's how the Atlantic is about to look. So this is roughly 10 days from now. We'll be seeing several areas that may develop or have developed in more strong tropical waves moving off. Now, looking at this map, to just be very clear, here's Jamaica, for example, very weather savvy in Jamaica. It doesn't mean we're going to have 10 days from now this blob on top of us as a tropical storm. Maybe it's over here. Maybe it's over here. It's a wait and see. This here being so far out in time just gives me a feel of, hey, it is about to get very active. As far as where these go or how much they develop, still a little bit wait and see. I need to see this area of high pressure, which is a blocker up here. Does that shift to the east, allowing these to curve, or does high pressure really build in, allowing these to develop and move right into the Caribbean? But the main point with this map is it is going to get very active very soon. But let's enjoy the breather over the next couple days. Then we swing out here in the eastern Pacific. It is already very active. Here's Hawaii. We have Gilma here. There's several areas that are going to spin up. And yeah, this is going to look a lot like what we're about to see in the Atlantic. Now, Hawaii, it looks like there's going to be a threat. Hawaii has been very dry, to say the least. So yeah, some rain may be welcome, but the problem is with the terrain, as we know across the Caribbean, if something were to move in with the dry weather, there would be quicker runoff, all sorts of issues. This is just going way out in time here. Once again, about a week from now, this is by the weekend, there could be some sort of tropical system approaching Hawaii, another one here, another one here. So you see a lot of activity out here in the eastern Pacific. So heads up, there could be some action headed toward Hawaii by the time we get into the upcoming weekend and early next week. Now, there are two different lists. I know I've been watching the comments, hey, what happened to the F storm? What happened to, what's going on? Well, this is the list in the Atlantic side. Ernesto, which is just now starting to wind down. That's the E name. Francine in the Atlantic basin. The Atlantic is the Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf of Mexico, and the Caribbean. Francine is the next name on the list. Gordon, Helene, Isaac, and we're going to see these pretty rapidly late month and then as we work our way into September. And we'll see where they go. On the Eastern Pacific side, there's a different list of names. Again, Gilma is out there right now. There's Fabio, Gilma. The next name on the list is Hector, and then Elena, and then John, Christy, Lane, Miriam, and Norma after that. So two different lists. That's why it gets a little confusing. So I did just want to point that out. Now, short term, watching some of the scattered showers and storms. I mentioned parts of Belize, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Panama, Nicaragua. We've had some rain already around. Nothing forming, no entity that's going to spin up. A few weaker tropical waves moving in. Plus, how hot has it been? It has been so very hot in so many locations. Also a little dusty. Just the same thing the next few days, scattered storms. But as we get toward the end of the week and the weekend, we're going to start to see what comes off the coast of Africa. Then I'll get a good feel on the kind of steering conditions to see what may be trying to get close to us or staying away. There's what's left of Ernesto. That has moved away. Now, there's still a front around for the Atlantic region of Canada, so still unsettled. And you see some of that moisture, southern sections of the Atlantic region of Canada, even as we make our way into tomorrow, not tied to Ernesto. That thing is now out of the picture. Another little impulse of some rain coming out of New England late week. Now, the seas are going to build somewhat. I was talking about that over toward the central Caribbean. Not a whole lot in the Gulf of Mexico, Bahamas. This is kind of that maybe calm in between storms with Ernesto leaving and then waiting for that big ramp up in activity just days away coming across the Atlantic. So as far as the seas go, this is on Thursday. Not much, again, not much as we work our way toward the end of the week. That is good for boating concerns, our mariners out there and our captains out there. Now, as far as the rain is concerned, we may get some of those thunderstorms watching the northern Bahamas. You see back toward Florida, northern Bahamas, seeing some of that rain around. Could see some of those afternoon storms that give us some of these downpours that could give us a quick 50 to 75 millimeters of rain or 2 to 3 inches of rain, but it's not widespread. These tropical waves in the short term really dealing with all that dry air that I showed you at the beginning of the video. So passing shower Antigua and Barbuda down through Trinidad and Tobago, not much. There's a little bit more back to the west. You see Guyana, Suriname, Venezuela, spotty shower. But as we get here, you see Belize, for example, if we get these repeat showers and storms the next few days, we'll have some spots of 100 millimeters of rain, 4 inches of rain, watching Belize City, Ladyville, Hopkins. We'll see that chance of rain and still watching that. Costa Rica and Panama, Mexico City, it has dropped off. Scattered showers, though, Merida over toward Cancun and Cozumel, little uptick in some of the rain across the Yucatan. So only a 30% chance for us in Jamaica today, and only a 20% chance in the Cayman Islands. Rain chance 30% Trinidad and Tobago. Our rain chance, it's down. Now, we could see a few passing showers. Barbados may catch 1 or 2 in St. Lucia as we monitor these tropical waves that are not developing, moving in. Rain chance today in Grenada, 30%. In the next couple days, 40%. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 30 to 40% chance in Martinique. Passing passing shower possible tomorrow. Could see a couple around as we work our way into Dominica for tomorrow. Same thing in Guadalupe. We're looking at about a 50% chance tomorrow. Antigua and Barbuda, rain chance is very small. Same thing, St. Kitts and Nevis in Montserrat, 30 to 40% chance. Little higher tomorrow and Thursday. Not a washout, but a few more showers possible as we get over toward Anguilla, St. Martin. You can see that rain chance 30 to 40%. 30 to 40% chance of some isolated showers and storms in Puerto Rico. And in the Virgin Islands, British and U.S., about a 40% chance tomorrow. Bahamas, rain chance small, but if you do get some rain, the northern Bahamas, Freeport, New Providence, that's where we have the better chance with some of those thunderstorms coming off of Florida. Turks and Caicos, very limited chance. And as we get back toward the Dominican Republic, Haiti, yeah, it's going to be hot across Hispaniola, but the rain chance stays low. Pop-up shower or storm, 40 to 50% chance in Belize. We've already had that, right? Scattered showers and storms for some of us. Aruba, we're mainly dry. Curacao, we're mainly dry. Loads of sunshine and so very hot. Over toward Bonaire, rain chance has dropped off in Guyana. And just a 10 to 20% chance in Suriname. Rain chance about 40% with some pop-up thunderstorms in the afternoon in Cuba. Costa Rica and Panama, we have a better chance, a 60% chance. Nicaragua, especially southern and eastern sections, better chance of rain. Some of that kind of feeding in and around Honduras the next few days, tomorrow and Thursday. Guatemala and El Salvador, 50 to 60% chance. And the rain chance down, just isolated around Mexico City. 40% chance, though, in the Yucatan. Let me know if you get any rain. Northern Colombia, 20% chance today. 30% chance today in northern Venezuela. And at this point in Bermuda, just kind of keeping an eye on some of those fronts that have been pushing off of the U.S. So Ernesto finally weakening, but it will be that wind maker. Ireland over towards Scotland. Attention is going to be paid toward Africa. Those showers and storms that will roll off into the Atlantic. I showed you just how active it is going to get. Wait and see where things go, how quickly they develop. But there could be 3 to about 5 spots we'll be watching at once as we get toward later this month, as expected. The very active season on average now, aside from the fact of how strong these things have been with a Beryl in particular, and then watching the Eastern Pacific in the short term where we have that activity. So a busy period ahead. I'll have much more information tomorrow as I can kind of see more out in time with more certainty. I'll pass along everything I'm seeing with this. Have a good rest of your day and be safe.